So traditionally, categories might have been viewed in shops as being a little bit kind of dull. And if you do go back to, processors, retailers where buying and visual merchandising wasn't joined together, then yes, categories could be kind of quite inconsistent and underwhelming. But the fact is now categories have really kind of been developed by best practice brands to be not only about order and choice, but also about impact, power of proposition, authority, trust, and inspiration as well. So I'd like to talk to you about three kind of developments of categories, what I call killer categories, coordinated categories and combined categories, all of which shift that authority of presenting, a range of products of choice, but they do it in a way which adds inspiration to the retailer and the shopping experience. Killer categories, as you might expect, they just go one step further than a category. And they are just, wow, I kind of see them always on walls. There's kind of colour spectrums, there's styles in there, and they're just wow impact. So they can, invite you into a shop. They could be a welcoming card to go in a shop, or they could be a real kind of destination wall at the back. It's about simplicity. It's about an absolute bestseller destination category, and it is displayed with order. And it has, that kind of colour impact usually, but it could be design and it could feature different sizes as well. But it's that wow impact. If you're going to go for categories, then go for it. The next one is combined categories. So combined categories kind of replace some of the visual wow of a killer category, but more sophistication. And you kind of, look at this, think about these as a matrix. And you've maybe got one kind of category going horizontally and another category or subcategory or theme going vertically. So, describe it, through some examples. It could be stationery products. So you have a wall there, you have a colour spectrum going one way, and you have different sizes of paper envelopes going the other way. It could be accessories. Winter accessories, for example. Accessorize used to do this very, very well, where again you've got maybe patterns and colours going horizontally, and you've got gloves, scarves, hats going the opposite matrix. So you're thinking of horizontal stories, you're thinking of vertical stories, and you're thinking about how you integrate them together. Visually, again, there can be wow, but there's a little bit more sophistication and planning in how you kind of bring these combined categories to life. And then finally, what I call coordinated categories. And this is where you take 2 or 3 max categories of product which go logically together, which the customer would buy together, and you just display them frontally, very visually, very simple way. And you allow the customer to coordinate as they will. So, a really good example would be shirts and denim, or t-shirts and shorts in summer. And you just have that display of, a range of colours and styles of tops. And then underneath, in the lower horizontal, you have the denim or the trousers. And you can create vertical kind of, silhouettes within that, bestseller maybe, or, what's fashionable, or, what's a very good kind of margin for you as a retailer. But fundamentally, you've got 2 horizontal bands, and the customer can kind of mix and match, however they want. The beauty of a coordinated category is that it can be loose, it can be flexible, how it's managed, it can be quite spontaneous. So if you sell through on products, the store is not lost. You can just replace, you can move things around. So you're really working loosely with 2 coordinated categories rather than a very, very precise kind of theme or silhouette. So all of these, killer categories, combined categories, coordinated categories, they bring inspiration into the shop. That's the first big advantage, is that it's not just about authority, it's about inspiration. The second big advantage is commercial, because you can build categories around commercial kind of sales figures behind every single kind of product which is in those categories. So clearly, for all of these to work, there needs to be absolutely synchronized planning and development and visual delivery of these categories, because in most cases you're looking at something which has a sequence of colors. It maybe has a sequence of sizes. So you need that level of planning. But, to go back to that commerciality, a thing about categories is, to a customer, it is largely democratic. All these different products are equal, whatever color, shape, size, pattern they are in. So it's a fabulous statement of authority and of choice to a customer. But of course, behind that, it is not a democracy at all, because you know what your best sellers will be. You know what your core product is. You know what your image makers are. So you can back each single facing with the appropriate amount of stock, so that you fulfill demand, but you don't just buy product to fill gaps in a visual display. You actually have them there in a sensible amount, and then you really, really, really stock the best sellers. In many cases, you feed the planned best sellers and you starve the image makers. But the impact for a customer, is very, very powerful. So in your shops, don't underestimate the impact you can get through categories. Think about how, which are your killer categories, your absolute wow visual categories. Are there places where you combine, different stories and create that matrix on a wall or on a table? And where can you loosely coordinate categories to have that kind of easy, flexible display for the customer? So don't neglect categories, but you must plan right the way through, from the buying, the space planning, the merchandising, through to the visual merchandising, to really make sure you get that wow impact in your stores from using categories.